Hi, my name's Chris Conley. I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about dealing with stress. First, I want to read to you a few things about stress. Stress refers to the physiological response that occurs when an organism fails to respond appropriately to emotional or physical threats. Extreme negative events such as being the victim of a terrorist attack, a natural disaster, or a violent crime may produce an extreme form of stress known as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, a medical syndrome that includes the symptoms of anxiety, sleeplessness, nightmares, and social withdrawal. Now it gets a little technical. The experience of stress creates both an increase in general arousal and the sympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system, ANS, as well as another even more complex system of physiological changes through the HPA axis. The HPA axis is a physiological response to stress involving interactions among the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands. Let me give you a little teaching here. Hypothalamus, this is a definition. In case you don't know what hypothalamus is, here it is. Hypothalamus is a brain structure made up of distinct nuclei as well as less autonomically distinct areas. It is found in all vertebrate nervous systems. The HPA response begins when the hypothalamus secretes releasing hormones that direct the pituitary gland to release the hormone ACTH. So there's a technical background. There's all sorts of levels of stress. You get a bad grade, your daughter failing a class, your wife yells, the toaster's on fire. You know, what do you, your heart starts racing, you're trying to figure out what to do. You get a phone call, your mother's been in a bad car accident, you need to come to the hospital right away. You don't know she's dying, you feel your blood pressure start to go up. You live in the Midwest, you hear that tornado siren. Storm's going outside, you head down to your storm cellar. All of these could give you stress. Survivors of Hurricane Katrina had 3 times the rate of heart attacks than the national average for the years following the disaster. So I'm going to explain a few terms here for you. Optimism, self-efficacy, hardiness. The power of positive thinking comes in different forms, but they all are helpful. Some researchers have focused on optimism, a general tendency to expect positive outcomes, finding that optimists are happier and have less stress. Optimism means hopefulness, cheerfulness, confidence. A general tendency to expect positive outcomes, finding that optimists are happier and have less stress. Self-efficacy. Effectiveness, youthfulness, value. The belief is in our ability to carry out actions that produce desired outcomes. People with high self-efficacy respond to environmental and other threats in an active, constructive way by getting information, talking to friends, attempting to face and reduce the difficulties of experience. Hardiness training. Hardiness means self-assurance, toughness, resilience. Programs that include focusing on ways to effectively cope with stress was effective in increasing satisfaction and decreasing self-reported stress. So here's our 3 levels of stress. The first level, your body releases stress hormones including cortisol. The second stage, the body adapts to this period of chronic stress and tries to return to normal functions. Glucose levels increase to sustain energy, and the blood pressure rises. Third stage, this is a very important stage. This stage, the body has run out of reserve energy and immunity. Blood levels decline, leading to decreased stress tolerance, progressive mental and physical exhaustion, illness, and collapse. The body organs begin to fall, and eventually illness and death. So let me tell you a little bit about my work in stress. I'm a release change manager. I have have seven or eight people underneath me, a couple of them offshore, more onshore. And whenever there's an outage with my application, it's a benefit application for Kaiser Permanente, they call on me to work on a WebEx or a bridge. I get multiple people together from other applications, and we try to resolve the issue. Say somebody at a customer desk, a member comes in and wants to get checked in, his or her membership number's not coming up. The customer support person starts stressing out. That stresses out the customer. And this could be, this type of stress is adaptive because it helps us respond to potentially dangerous events by activating the sympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system. There was a time when I worked at another place. I was on the West Coast. I had a manager on the East Coast. I was a disaster recovery coordinator for a major data center. Been on the job over a year, was doing really well, but she didn't think I wasn't doing very well. So I didn't know I was having a stress attack. I had a bleeding ulcer. My complexion was turning white. I was walking, leaning to one side. So I went to my doctor. He did a blood test. He called me a couple hours later, told me to get down to the hospital right away. I needed a blood transfusion. So these type of things, you got to really pay attention to your body. You got to find ways of dealing with stress. Positive emotions and being an optimistic person helps me coping with stress on my job. I project a positive attitude and work, and I feel the others feed off it. When emotions are running high on a bridge, I sometimes say funny things to lighten the atmosphere. So these are some of the things I want to get across today. That stress could come in any shape or form. You have to find a way of dealing with stress. And if you do have stress, make sure you see a doctor or you find things to eliminate. Thank you.